Hello YouTube, this is MTGeezers and we are bringing you another video of our complete set review for Khans of Tarkir, and this time we are going to be looking over the red cards. So we're going to start off now with Act of Treason. We've seen this card before, however I love the new art for it. Gaining control of target creature until end of turn. This card's played in Standard quite a lot. It's played in Draft and Sealed formats a lot, so it will definitely be really good there, but we know what that card does. Anarch Tracker is 6 for a 3/3 with first strike and more for 5. He's a pretty basic creature. The first strike makes him pretty good. Definitely playable in sealed formats. I don't think he'll see much play in standard, but I mean, he's a decent card and I like him. Arc Lightning for 3 deals 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures and or players. It's basically the new version of not Active Treason, the card in M14 that split 3 damage up. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, it's a really good card, really playable. Arrow Storm for 5 deals 4 damage to target creature or player, and if you attack with the creature this turn, it deals 5 damage to that target creature or player, and the damage can't be prevented. I really like this card. It will be a good way to finish off your opponents. It's a bit like a Lava Axe, except if you do control the creature power 4 or greater, it can't be prevented. So, really strong card. Ash Cloud Phoenix is the mythic rare for red. For 4, you're getting a 4/1 flyer with more for 6. When it's turned face up, it deals 2 damage to each player, and when it dies, return it to battlefield face down. I like this card a lot. In Draft and stuff like that, I can see great power and potential for it. However, if you are losing, and they have, say, a stronger flyer, like a 6/6 flyer, every time your dude dies, you're having to pay 6 to turn it face up, just to be able to get a blocker again. So, although it is a very good card, I don't think it should be mythic, and I think it's only mythic because of its playability in sealed. Barrage of Boulders for 3, it deals 1 damage to each creature you don't control, and if a creature you control power 4 or greater, if you control a creature power 4 or greater, creatures you control, creatures can't block this turn. It's a really strong card. It will wipe out a lot of weenie soldier token decks and stuff like that. And the ability that creatures can't block this turn means if you've got enough attackers, no matter how great their defense is, it will just power through. I can see this being used a lot against stuff like Abzan decks at the moment because it's really strong. Next, we've got Bloodfire Expert, 3 for a 3/1 with Prowess. Really good card. Well, you know, Prowess is a really good mechanic for Jeskai, so it's just a solid card if you are playing a Jeskai deck. Bloodfire Mentor, 3 for a 0/5, pay 3 tap, draw a card, discard a card. The draw and discard card effect's pretty good, but for 3 mana I believe you can get something better than a 0/5. And there are a lot of rules, like the Abzan one we've already seen, which is 2 for a 0/7, and you know, this card just gets a bit outclassed when you compare it to something like that. However, nevertheless, it is a good rule, and will have lots of play in sealed, not so much play in standard, but definitely in sealed formats. Bring Low for 4, instant speed, deals 3 damage to target creature, and if that creature has a 1/1 counter on it, it deals 5 damage to it instead. Great removal for red here, definitely will be played quite a lot, possibly in standard actually, maybe a sideboard for when you're against some Abzan decks, and if like Simic kind of things are still around, but just, obviously, Simic's going out standard, so just the green and blue kind of combos, if they're still around, it'll hopefully work against that as well. Burn Away is again some removal for red, 6 damage to target creature. When it dies, exile all cards from its controller's graveyard. Now this card works really, really well with that card we looked at earlier, the multicolored card, that's name I couldn't pronounce, but whenever a card is exiled, you put a 1/1 counter on it. Dude, if you run those two things in the same decks, that would be absolutely insane. What do you guys think? Do you think 4-color decks will become a thing? Maybe even 5-color decks will. We'll just have to wait and see. Canyon Lurkers is 5 for 5/2 with more for 4. You know, pretty bog stand basic card. Pretty good as well. Crater's Claws for X and 1 deals X damage to target creature or player. And it deals X plus 2 if you control a creature power 4 or greater. This is quite like a lightning ball, is it? Lightning bolt. But obviously it's a little bit better because of its ferocious mechanic. I can see a lot of play for this in Commander, possibly Modern, Standard, Sealed. It's a really good all-over card and I'm really liking it. Dragon Grip for 3. If you control a creature power 4 or greater, you may cast Dragon Grip as though it had flash, and the enchanted creature gets +2/+0 and has first strike. So it's a really, really good card. I really, really like it, and I think it's definitely playable in most formats. Dragon Style Twins for 5, you're getting a 3/3 double strike and prowess. Now, I love this card. It's absolutely bonkers because every time you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+1. However, that will pack in 2 extra damage because of its double strike. Really think it's great. If you go and shock them twice, for example, you can go and swing them then after for 10 with this card. Absolutely insane. Goblin Slide, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay 1 and get a 1/1 with haste. Pretty good. I can see a lot of play for it, especially in maybe standard Mardu decks. But yeah, it's a really solid card. Horde Ambusher is a 2/2 for 2, and whenever it blocks, deals 1 damage to you. When it's turn face up, target creature can't block. So obviously this card's made more for the attack than defense, but the blocking aside, it's a really strong attacker, and Morph again makes it a little bit stronger, I guess. So it's pretty good. Hordeling Outburst for 3, you're getting 3 1/1 red goblins onto the battlefield. Really strong, builds you up an army of little goblins. I can see this played in sealed formats quite a lot because defenders are always really good, and you do have to result in chump blocking quite a lot. So that's definitely a card to look at. Howl of the Horde for 3, when you cast an instant or sorcery, you may copy it and choose new targets. If you attack with a creature this turn when you cast it, copy that spell an additional time. This card I really like, and I think this might even be able to be played in modern burn decks. If you were to attack with like Hellspark Elemental or something like that, and then Lightning Bolt them, you get to copy it and copy it again for 3 mana, meaning they're taking 12 that turn, and the only mana you have to invest is 5 mana. It's a pretty good card. I really like it. I'm sure you guys can think of some cool combos for that card as well. During Instigator is 2 for a 2/1 with more for 3. When it's turn face up, if it's your turn, gain control of target creature, untap it and it gains haste. So it's basically an active treason effect. However, you're also getting a nice creature body of a 2/1 on top of it, which is why I believe it's a rare. Really strong in quite a few formats actually. I really like it. Leaping Master's 2 for a 2/1 that can gain flying if you pay 3. It's a pretty good creature. It's got good evasion if you're doing the bread technique in a draft, which is bombs, removal, evasion, attackers, and dud, as I know it. So it's a pretty good card, pretty evasive. Could be hard to block, but paying 3 to give a creature flying, I'd probably just prefer to pay 3 and get out a 2/2 flyer. Mardiblaze Finger for 3. It attacks when it attacks or blocks, sacrifice it at the end of combat. So for 3, you are getting this insane 4/4. However, when it attacks or blocks, you do sacrifice it at the end of turn. Maybe if you can pump it, you'll get a bit more value out of it. It's a good creature, but obviously the fact that you can only attack with it once is a bit of a downside. Here we have Mardu Heartpiercer, 4 for a 2/3 with Raid. If you attack with a creature, it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. I really like this. It acts as removal as well for red, whilst giving a nice strong creature body base to it as well. Pretty playable card here. Mardu War Shrieker has a Burning Tree Missionary-like effect, with when it enters battlefield, if you attack with the creature, add 3 to your mana pool. I really like it. You're basically getting a 3/3 for 1, and then because you can invest that 3 in your mana pool and anything else. So I think it's a really strong card. Probably play in standard, possibly commander as well because of the tricolor mana fixing. Definitely in sealed formats, a really strong card. Monastery Swiftspear. When I saw this card, oh, I went insane. 1 for a 1/2 with haste would be good, and it has prowess as well, so like you can go and shock them in the face and it gets even bigger. I love this card. I think this is going to be a 4 of in quite a few Jeskai decks. Here we have Sarkhan, the much anticipated Dragon Speaker. For his +1, he becomes a 4/4 red dragon with flying and indestructible and haste until end of turn, and he doesn't lose his loyalty. This kind of reminds me of some Stormbreath Dragon, but he gains indestructible, so he's pretty sweet. His minus deals 4 damage to a creature. I think that could have been better if it was creature or player, but you can't complain when you see his ultimate. You get an emblem with it at the beginning of your draw step, draw 2 additional cards, and at the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. This will work really well in burn decks and creature heavy decks, because you just go play your hand. So instead of drawing 1 card and being able to play 1 thing, you can draw 3 cards, play them all, and then you've got nothing to discard. Really brilliant. Shatter for 2, destroy target artifact. You know, it's okay, it's not anything special. Summit Prowler for 4 is a 4/3, again, just a vanilla text creature. He's alright, you know, play in sealed formats, not much else. Swift Kick for 4, target creature you control that's +1/+0 and fights for target creature you don't control. Now this is quite green-like when I saw this. Swift Kick, it's very good removal for red. I really like it. I think it will be played quite a lot, and you know, maybe someone will try it in standard. I don't think it's quite powerful enough, but instant speed makes it pretty good, so we'll have to wait and see. Tormenting Voice for 2 as an additional card, cost to it, discard a card, and then you draw 2 cards. I like it if you don't have much in your hand except mana. I don't like it because it's sorcery speed and it does cost 2. It would be much better if it cost 1, but still at sorcery speed it's a bit of a letdown. Trumpet Blast for 3, attacking creatures get +2/+0 until end of turn. This card is bonkers. In Pro Tour M15 we saw loads of red Goblin decks which just tried to attack with loads of creatures, and if those decks could include a card like this, it would just pwn absolutely crazy. Definite play in standard and sealed formats. Valley Dasher is 2 for a 2/2 with haste and it attacks each turn if able. Pretty good creature. I like the fact it's got haste. It gives you a slight advantage there. Attacking each turn if able is obviously a bit of a letdown, but it's a pretty solid creature, especially at common. War-named Aspirant is our last card for today. For 2, you're getting a 2/1 with Raid, enter battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it if you attack with a creature this turn, and it can't be blocked with creatures by power 1 or less. This card's pretty good. For 2 mana, you're getting a potential 3/2 that can't be blocked by creature of power 1 or less, so all of the weenies that might try and block it, they just can't. So, you have just watched our 3rd episode of our complete set review for Khans of Tarkir. We'd love to hear your thoughts of the set, as all of the cards have now been spoiled. If you want us to make any videos, please leave a comment down below, and if you're new to the channel, please just take a quick second to subscribe, as that way you'll be having all of our cool videos and information sent straight to you into your email box, and you'll get to view them. And hopefully you enjoyed this video, and we hope to see you next time. So thank you very much, and goodbye.